Okay, so let me go into the presentation mode. There we go. Oh, all right. Forget about the transcripts. All right. So any questions before we move on?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll keep track of this one. So I was actually debating myself that where should I get started? This is something where we started earlier as well. When we think about from end user perspective or anyone who is not quite familiar with software industry, and I see them confused. Hey, Shahid, I have never ever worked in the IT industry, but I don't know where to get started. I'm lost. Can you guide me? So this is where even lots of leadership people, and during interviews calls, you will get to those questions as well. It's called Golden Triangle of Management. I picked this name. There are other names as well, but again, you don't have to confuse yourself. Oh, Golden Triangle of Management, and there could be another name as well. So I'm giving you guys homework as well. Please work on it. Um, and also it's called people. It's called Golden Triangle in a way that how they manage the software, like development. So it's called people, process, and technology. There are some debates. They're also called people, process, tools as well. So if you hear tools, don't confuse yourself. Oh, I heard technology. You're talking about tools. So forget about. I mean, those all everything is the same. Technology, tools, software, all those. But it's called people, process, and technology. I love this one. People, in a way, if you guys see, it's a kind of when you look at overall the develop, you are trying to build something. You as a people or persons can't do everything alone, right? So you need some kind of building blocks of a kind of environment, right? Or any tools. If you can, for example, you are building a home, right? What you do, or if I'm cleaning my carpet, where I go, I'll go to Home Depot and to go to tools rentals and rent a carpet cleaner, right? Or anything, something like that, right? So because I am a human, I'm not a robot, I'm not a machine, I can't do anything all alone. I need some supportive items, right? It could be process, it could be technology. I'm getting to that point. Or for example, if you are trying to build something, just like I mentioned, you are having a birthday party, right, or event. So there are so many items that comes up as kind of checklist that you go through, right? What is called? It's called a guideline, like a process. So people, the who do work, like who will delivering, who will be actually working, right? The resources, the people, the persons, the folks, actual team. Processes is kind of where it gives you a checklist or kind of sequential instructions that okay, first follow this instruction. For example, if you buy a kind of new tool to your home, right? Or I my agile coach used to kind of give example of he used to call himself agile kitchen. So if you bring a kind of a kitchen gadget, right, the instructions comes up with that, how to assemble it, how to use it, but it also gives you number one, two, three, four as well, right? So it doesn't say that okay, follow step number five first and then go to number one. Why? Because it's a guideline, it's a process. If you want a fully quality use of it, or if you want to get use it for longer, you have to follow those instructions, right? So this kind of manual or training material or assembly instructions, whatever you call it, it's a process. How work is done, how to use it, how to assemble it, right? Technology, what work is done. So this is where we use the software to build the software. So it's not something I can build something from the scratch without using anything else, right? So that's where technology comes up handy. So we use something we rely or we pivot another technology tools like which in order to enable us to deliver another software, which is kind of a new product or something, right? So that's where it's called people, process, and technology. All those trio comes up all together to deliver quality softwares, to deliver software products, and to make our life easier. So now you can fit yourself where we fit. Only as a people are part of it, right? Only we have to use processes or rely on the processes, and then using technology, and then that's where we build new products, software products or software deliverables. That's where people get more clarity, and their concepts are much clearer that where they fit. And now this will also relate to our course topic as well, which is project management using Scrum, where it fits. You guys, the question might be arising in your heads, right? It fits into the process over here, and also partially on the people as well. But using technology when it comes to any other like a Jira or any workflow software that you reflect over here as a your like a work, that's where you rely on the technology. But our mainly our emphasize our focus during this course of training will be process actually, and we'll get to that point in a minute. Okay. So first of all, you guys might be asking question to yourself like, what is project management? So because I'm jumped directly from here processes, because remember I highly quickly gave you kind of overview of processes, technology, and people, and I said processes gives you guidelines, gives you the instructions, right? So that's where I'm coming up to the project management now. So there are a lot of industry book definitions of project management or software management or SDLC, blah blah blah. I mean, but I just picked one. This is my philosophy to when during the interview, if if you happen to ask those kind of questions, don't depend on the dictionary definitions or by book. Try to explain them into your own words and be confident on those on your answers. Otherwise, they will be like looking for, are you looking for only industry? I mean, dictionary definition? Oh, I mean, I can do RATA, or I can memorize it and then answer it, but it's not something that I don't believe it. So try to understand, and then they will love it. And it helps a lot. I'll give you, our last class will be up to for those topics and tips, and when we will be wrapping up. But since it's our first class, it's too early to open the can of worms. PMI defines project management as the use of specific knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to deliver something of value to the people. Again, if you take a look on this paragraph, you will end up summarizing over here, right? Because we use a process and technology, and we are the people, right, to deliver something that is value to the people. It could be anything. It could be service. It could be a software. It could be any tangible product, or like a vacuum cleaner or something, right? In simple terms, project management means the process of leading a team to hit the goals or complete deliverables within a set time frame. So look at over here, it's the simpler words, right? So I mean, you can even pause yourself over here to hit the goals right here. You don't have to just memorize the whole thing as well, unless if you, as long as you can explain it in your own words, it's fine. I mean, they really love it if you explain it, elaborate it in your own words, rather sticking to your particular dictionary definitions. But over here, what do we see is combination of tools, techniques, with the knowledge, right? Proper skills. What we deliver. We deliver something that is value to the people, that makes people life easier. Over here, I took a snippet of basic kind of overall project management overview in terms of what is a project management. What is project management? Project management is a combination of tasks or success factors. Success factors means where we see that, oh wow, it satisfied my expectations, right? Who is responsible, who is involved, what is who is responsible, where that's where organizational hierarchy comes up handy. It starts from the president, VP, like top to bottom approach. organizational structures also and then it rolls back to the how to structure a project, like operational structure. Over here, as you can see, like organizational structure in the first one, woo. But over here, then it goes to the operational where the like processes comes up handy. And this will be our one of the best topic of today's class as well, like which is software development lifecycle, and Agile is part of it actually. And how to manage it. So how to manage project, like what are the our metrics, how we are tracking the progress, how we are saying that okay we are done with the project, right? So those kind of what is who, how to structure, how to manage those kind of project management basics that we will learn during this course. And we will be learning and talking and discussing part of one of those methodology, not all of them. It's hard to cover everything. I mean, it's fact, in reality, it will be crazy if we cover PMP, we cover Agile, we cover other methodologies as well. We will be focusing on Agile project management. Okay, we're here as just like course of the title of the course says. But I quickly grabbed over here to give you kind of a perspective. I'm sure there could be some folks that are already aware of it. They already know that they might be working, right? But again, I'm bringing everyone from the scratch that, like, now you guys might have heard another term is which is called product, right? Because over here, these days, especially innovation ways, um, software is not called software anymore. Most of the people they use the term like project, or they also call product. Actually, mainly product is actually widely used. But over here, you guys should be consider the difference between those two terms as well. What is project and what is product, right? Because in a way that you may face this question even in the interview, right? Or if you go for product management or product owner training, that's where also you have to differentiate and draw the lines as well, where we see that okay, are we talking about product or are we talking about the project itself? Product itself is a physical good, software, or service itself. For example, if you go to the Chase Bank website, you will see so much other options like Zelle or internal transfer or external transfer or loan, mortgage, all those things, right? What they call it different products, okay? Because they are providing different services, and they call it out as a product. But while a project is a series of tasks, so in other words, you can call a product might have multiple projects itself to enhance it, to improve it, to get to the next level. So a project is a series of tasks, and also it has other restrictions with along associated with that as well. Just like let's quickly talk about permanent. Product is permanent until it's retired, until it's sunset, like until it replaces another product, or retired or obsolete, right? But a project has a specific timeline. Hey, we have this 3 months project. We cannot say we will be using only for product for 3 months and then we will be obsoleting or retiring. No, it's permanent actually. It stays longer, much longer than the projects. And then product is continually evolving, as I mentioned, right? Get to the next level. Let's enhance it. Let's improve it based on the customer feedback, right? And then while the project is well-defined outcome, it's not something that we cannot say, oh, let's circle back, go back to the like 0 point and then start again. We can't say that unless if you roll back a particular project. Uh, Another feature of product is it's a long-term product team. The team that we build is long-term, but while the project is for the short-term basis. Again, it relates to the upper bullet points as well, like characteristics. I hope you guys understand. I don't have to spend a lot of time because, of course, it's permanent, right? So for permanent, you need longer commitments from the product team. 4 stages of product life cycle. It has 4 stages. I'm not going to go over. Feel free to Google it. Feel free to educate yourself. But again, this project have 5 stages of the project life cycle. We quickly touch base on the coming slides. for when it will be coming to the project. Because if I caught myself into the product, then I will lose track on the project, right? So I have to keep the balance of the time and the topics as well. So since this is our first class, we have to keep focus on and quickly get to the actual contents of the class as well, which is Agile. The product has an outcome, but the project has steps. As I mentioned, it has series of tasks that you have to follow the steps to deliver a product. Feel free to ask any questions. Unmute yourself if you have, or also put it on the idea boards as well. I'm just reminding you guys. Now let's talk about what is software development life cycle. Remember I talked about it was saying 5 stages or 4 stages of the product, but I mean, as I said, that I will be focusing on the project itself. But over here, now you guys will be surprised. I'm showing you guys 7 stages. But I'm gonna quickly go come over to that point why I'm talking about. But I'm talking about what is the reason. First of all, you have to understand what is the software development lifecycle. Each and every entity, no matter if it's a software or a product or a project or anything, they have a life cycle. From the even we as a human being, we have a life cycle. We're born, right? And then our age starts, and we get to the walk, crawl, run approach, all those things. So that's how we grow, right? So the stages are same thing, life cycle. How a software is also maintained as a or live within a particular it's a life cycle. What are the stages of the software development life cycle? But first of all, a software development lifecycle is a process used by the software industry to design, develop, and test high quality software. Again, if someone comes up with other definition, I will take it. Why? Because I'm not sticking to the dictionary definitions or by books. Over here, you guys might be thinking that okay, we have addressed over here design, develop, and test. Over here, we have a lot over here like planning, analysis, design, because they most of the industry leaders, they have combined some of the phases together. That's why over here, if you Google software development lifecycle, you will see some 5 phases only, or six, uh, because it's their thing, it's their own opinion, it's their thinking. That's what they think, but they don't impose or restrict you guys to follow only themselves. They also give you guys flexibility. The main idea is to understand the concept, not get into the, oh, is it 5 stages or 7 stages? I'm confused. No, not like that. Don't get yourself confused. Be confident. Just try to elaborate and consume the contents what are being offered to you guys. So over here, what we talked about it, design, develop, and test. Over here, what we have, SDLC, which is an acronym of Software Development Lifecycle, is a framework defining tasks performed at each steps in the software development process. It starts with planning, right? Planning is first important. You don't go directly into the execution mode, right? Without proper planning. Otherwise, it will be a waste of everything. So that's where the process gives you guidelines, steps, instructions to follow to get to the finish line. Planning stage. From planning, you go into the analysis stage. Okay, whether it with expect discovery mode, or is it worth to invest to put investment or funding this project or not, or something like that, right? And then from analysis, get to the design stage. That's where design stage starts. After based on the prototypes and everything, right? I mean, over here, some people, industry leaders, they also call development stage as part of the design as well, because the design have they break down the design stage into the smaller phases itself. But I'm not gonna confuse you guys. But again, planning, analysis, design, and then development starts. The actual working starts. Once it's developed, they start testing uh, and integration stage. 5 and 6 phases. They also call, you might have heard, implementation as well. So even part of development as well. But from the development, it goes to the implementation, which includes testing and integration stage. That's where you can combine some of those. and come up with the less numbers. But it's not the idea to reducing the numbers, but the idea is to consume the contents, right? To clear yourself, to clear your concepts, so you guys better consume it and then work properly. So after testing, it goes to integration. You guys might be thinking, what's called integration? Integration means like there could be some other modules already developed or other software which are talking to each other, right? Software gets merged into another one, right? So that's where integration piece comes up. It could be it's part of its own software. It could be another software which is kind of you're logging through another. For example, if you log on to Chase from other app or something for to verify for verification purposes, there's so many APIs. But again, this kind of again, I'm not gonna go into that deeper discussion. But integration means like merging together. Once you develop a piece of it, but you are combining together with another already existing piece of the software. That's how it works. Okay, and then once it's rolled out, it's the maintenance stage comes handy. This is really something where it's not like you leave the software alone once it's developed and delivered and then wash your hands and oh, we're done. No, maintenance is also another important stage where there could be some bugs or defects. And I'm sure you guys, that's how you guys received your iPhone, like, um, operating system, iOS upgrades or Android. Why? Because they fix some bugs, right? Based on the feedback. So maintenance is also important. With that, most popular software development lifecycle models. So you guys might be thinking, is it there's only one way to produce a software or multiple ways? So that's where different models, different practices comes up in the picture that, okay, what are the, for example, some of the each product or each software or whichever you look at in your daily life, they have different variations. Or, for example, if you are listening a particular one topic from a speaker, each speaker's perspective could be different. So think about this way as well. Same thing over here. Different practices depending on the nature of the product or the project that you are delivering. There are different practices that you have to follow. First of all, once it's called the most popular is called waterfall model. Waterfall, in terms of why we call it out as a waterfall, based on its linear. Waterfall means like a steps by steps. It starts from the requirements analysis, and then once it's done, then design starts. Design cannot start before the analysis piece, or like as I mentioned, the stages, right? Analysis, design, all those go. They are all each of the prior stage is dependent on the prior one. Okay, so that's why we're here. Requirements analysis. Once this one is done for a particular project or software, like then the design phase starts. After the design is complete, then development. So it's not something it's like they can run parallel or some other ways. No, partially even not as well. So the next slide will be elaborating it more in clear way, because you guys might be thinking where it's applicable. The waterfall model is a breakdown of the project activities into linear or sequential phases, as I mentioned, like through all the development stages, analysis, design, coding, like as I mentioned, there are a lot of phases. Now you can say coding as another phase as well, which is part of design. Testing, deployment, the process moves in a cascade mode. So each stage has concrete deliverable. As I mentioned, one stage cannot start until the prior one is finished. That's the actually uh, uh, particular team or idea or restriction you call whatever you call guidelines of the waterfall methodology is about. So you cannot start design if the unless if the requirement analysis is completed. You cannot do that. But there are ways. I mean, the future coming slides will be addressing there are other approaches as well. How the industry leaders have tweaked this process and enhanced it in a way that now everyone is talking about agile. Why they're talking about? But first of all, let's focus on is this one waterfall is not even a waste of money or You cannot say that, oh, it's all legacy style. You can't say that because there are particular use cases where it's ideal actually. It's not something that you guys might be thinking that, okay, if the one stage is cannot start until the priority is completed, so it's so much rigid, right? Of course, it is rigid. It is time consuming because if the developers are just waiting until the analysis is BA, like business analyst, hands over the requirements to them, right? But there are some situations where it's ideal, and that's why I have highlighted over here the use cases for the waterfall. Simple, small, or mid-sized project with clear, defined, and unchanging requirements, like where you see the requirement will not be changed. Okay, yes, definitely this is ideal because once the requirements are done, then the design starts. Otherwise, if the requirements keep changing, then it's never ending process. Design people will be waiting forever, right? But if you're certain about the requirements will not be changing, then definitely you can adapt this waterfall methodology to deliver the software. Again, when you say methodology, it's all about processes. When we talked about software development lifecycle, our processes, our methodology, same terms, same definitions, same meanings. Okay. So, for example, small company website development, simple. I have 1 or 2 pages of website development. I don't have to go for look for other development methodologies or look for more analysis and time consuming and like wasting time, all those. Let's quickly go, come wrap up your analysis, do your requirements. Here are my requirements, only 2 to 3 pages, simple, and that's all I need and get it done, right? So you will not be changing your requirements. So you hand it over to the development so they can just go ahead and quickly work on it and deliver it. Small, mid-size projects with the needs for stricter control, predictable budget, and timeline. Oh yes, governmental projects, like the government jobs, uh, like where they execute, because they know they are not going to change the requirements because they have certain level of SLAs like approval processes, right? They have to wait for that. Or predictable budget, they do like strict timeline and budgeting, and they don't go in the middle of the project they don't interfere. Oh, our requirements have been changed now. No, government doesn't work like that. You guys know that. Projects that must adhere to multiple rules and regulations. For example, healthcare projects. They are building another vaccine, right, or a pharmaceutical or any medicine or something like that. So they have also same thing. They cannot change the medicine protocol or formula is changed now, so you have to keep changing the requirements in the middle of the project or execution. Okay. All right. So another one, the good one, we are getting to there actually. Don't worry. Your wait will be over pretty soon. V model requirements. This V model is kind of a little bit different from the waterfall in a sense, where the testing actually takes place at every stage of the software development lifecycle. If the requirements is analysis is done, then they have to get approval from the acceptance test design. System design level, they have to test the system test designs. So that's how V model differs from the waterfall. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the same as waterfall. But the only added thing is the testing. They have to involve at every stage because this is much more sensitive. Over here, the V model is another linear model, which each stage having a corresponding testing activity, as I mentioned before, right? So the use case, I'm not gonna read all the paragraph. I will share with the slides if you want. But you guys might be thinking where it's applicable, right? Where we can implement this. It says projects where the failure and downtimes are unacceptable. For example, medical software, for example, like ultrasound machines or something like that, right? Or aviation fleet management softwares where you are building a radar to track the different airplanes and all those. So aviation fleet management software, since those are so sensitive, right? And here, like failure, they cannot like afford to be fail, right? So that's where, in order to prevent failure, they do testing at each stage. So that's where they adapt the V model. My favorite, iterative. We are there almost. Incremental model or agile. I also call it. I added agile in a way because it's also called agile in uh, a recent buzzword you might have heard, and that's what our course is about. Like training is about agile, but agile not is only one word alone itself. It's also called iterative model or incremental model. The beauty of this model is um, the requirements, analysis, design, coding, they they all in small, they run all together parallel in small iterations, and each iterations have small deliverable that feeds into another iteration, and then it keeps going. So it's kind of evolving product or project or model that you follow. But over here, it's very kind of fast paced, very time saving in terms, and also cost effective in a way that if you find a bugs in a particular at any stage of the software, you can quickly respond back to the change. And even requirements also can be changed in the middle of the development cycle as well. And we'll spend more time on that in the coming slides. But why it's called iterative or incremental right here. This model involves multiple development cycles, as I mentioned in the previous slides, right here, right? Multiple cycles, right? Iteration one, iteration two, or cycle one, cycle two, whatever you call. But it's involved multiple development cycles. The cycles are divided up into the smaller iterations. So I reflected in the previous slides, these iterations can be easily managed and go through a set of phases, including requirements, design, implementation, all the phases, but with the smaller, iterations, not a holistic approach. A working version of the software, which is also called MVP, you might have heard about it. It's called minimum viable product. Um, it's a it's a deliverable at the end of at the end of each iteration. So, and also it feeds to as an input to another iteration, as I mentioned right here. If you see right here, this is our iteration one, right? So we started with requirements analysis. We software product increment one, or we also call it MVP one, right? Most minimum viable product. For example, if you are building a car, um, you start with the like wheels, right? Show it to the customer. Hey, how they look like. Although the customer cannot run the car now, it's too early, right? But at least they have something in front of their eyes where they can test it, where they can check it and provide the feedback, right? Rather in the waterfall, as I mentioned before, at the end, towards the when it comes to the implementation and maintenance, that's where the whole product get to the in front of the customer's eyes, and then that's where the surprises comes up. Oh, I don't like it because I thought assumptions, right? I thought this will work like this, or I really want to tweak it or enhance it, but it's too late because the whole phases are gone, right? Requirements analysis, design, coding, I'm talking about waterfall. That's why it's more like time consuming, more risky. But over here, look at the beauty of this agile or iterative model. If they want to something change, okay, wow, well, we will respond to back, we will do it. Or if you are building the house, right? You get your foundation, you bring your owner, hey, look at this, look at the walls, how we have built the walls. Okay, does it your satisfied you or not? Okay, I really want more walls, a little bit more higher. Okay, let's work on it or respond to that and tweak it. And otherwise, if you build the whole house and bring the owner and show it to them and then say, oh no, I was expecting high ceiling, but you guys lowered it down, right? So, I mean, that's where the customer satisfaction comes up. So over here, we showed it to the customer. Hey, give me 2 or 3 weeks. You will have something, piece of the product, piece of the software that you will get to see that, and you can provide your feedback, whether it satisfies you or not, or we can enhance it, right? So the idea is over here, as it mentioned, uh, we work into smaller iterations, smaller phases, and then we get to the we deliver the piece of it, piece of working software or project, piece of project or product, whatever you call. And then we receive the customer feedback. Constant feedback is very important. Now you see the whole list of bullet points listed under use cases. That's where it agile that's what it makes it agile more ideal to adapt in terms of, like, especially with this fast-paced market innovation era that we are facing. Now Tesla is there, and I'm sure you guys might have heard about GPT. I'm not going to go into that discussion, but again, there is another actually case of Blockbuster versus Netflix. There was a town hall our leaders was talking about responding to change, because this idea of live streaming was given to the Blockbuster first, but they rejected it. They did not adhere to the change. They did not adapted the change. Netflix adapted, and then they are successful these days. And Blockbuster is bankrupt. Anyway, all right, coming to the point. Use cases, large and complex projects, right? Presenting sketches and blueprints of the products to use for their feedback. So if we have a huge initiative, right? But it's really hard or risky to deliver all in once, right? Our agile coach used to give example of eating an elephant. Although I don't recommend you guys to eat an elephant, but he used to throw a question that, okay, if you have to eat the elephant, what you will do? You will eat the elephant all together in one shot, or you'll go and take piece by piece, right? So that's how it works as well. Large and complex projects, we divide them into the small iterations where we deliver a piece of it and then get the feedback and move on. And that feedback, that MVP is our input to the next iteration, as I mentioned in the previous slide right here. So this one doesn't go waste, because this one is feeding to the next level, and keep working, keep building it, right? So right here, large and complex projects, that's how we deliver, and where we also presenting sketches or blueprints of those. And some working functionality can be also another ideal, where some working functionality can be developed and early in the software development life cycle. If we see an opportunity that a piece of software will be delivered, working software, not the whole. As I mentioned, I keep saying that don't think that holistic approach. No, piece by piece, increments, right? It is easy. It's easily adaptable. The next one is to ever-changing needs of the project as well as the client. If we happen to encounter a situation where we see the requirements keep changing, it never ending, and we have to be more flexible and adaptable. So that's where we recommend to switch to agile, transform to agile from waterfall or from your whatever they were following. So if, for example, these days even, like our clients, our customers, they keep asking more and more, or like rapidly and quickly. They want to get them to see that those software happen. They want to play with them quickly, enhanced version of those, right? So that's where agile is ideal to adapt that, to deliver and work on it. It is more cost effective to change the scope or requirements. As I mentioned before, I'm not going to spend much time on it. I'm sure you guys already went over it. Where we see that, like, the scope means like are the requirements, like what are the checklist. If it's complex and large, as I mentioned, the requirements keep changing, right? So it's not risky to invest if we have agile transformation done. Parallel development. There you go. Another keyword. Parallel development can be planned, and testing and debugging during the smaller iteration is easy. Right here, as you guys can see, where's my here? Okay, so the development actually and testing can start together. what you can do, what they can do is they develop a piece of it and then hand it over to testing right away. So this way, the testing is not waiting idle, uh, just like they used to be in the waterfall, right? Because once stage is finished, then they get started, right? Over here, they run parallel. They hand it over to each other. For example, they can start scripting if they're developing first attempt, as I mentioned. Later on, it's easy. It's a repeat and rinse right here. First iteration is done, feeds back to another one. Okay, so this is kind of iterative, incremental. So over here, the development and testing can be done parallel. It's also called parallel development. And debugging also during the smaller iteration is easy. It's not rigid. It's not restricted. Risks are identified and resolved during iteration. As I mentioned, if they want to change or if they happen to see any challenge during this small iteration, it's easy. How much time you will lose? How far? The iteration of the time, right? Not the whole like 6 months or some of the planning. They go waste or wrong. No, they don't lose the whole thing because that's how they break into smaller pieces and the risks are really identified early, even because they identify the bugs as well at the early stage of the cycle. Okay. All right. Let's quick time check. It's almost 1 hour, 3 minutes behind 7 o'clock. Can we quickly go over a quick short break and resume our conversation and discussion? Because again, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of debate, and you will see me. My throat may get dry or something. I'm a human being as well. Let's why not quickly take a break and how much break do you guys need? Like 10 minutes or 5 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
10 minutes.
Okay, someone said 5 minutes. Okay, all right. I'm in the basement. I have to go upstairs, so it will take me like 5 minutes to go up there. Anyway, just kidding. Let's
10
quickly
minutes.
come. Okay, so let's come back on the 7:10. How's that? I'm giving you another stop. Is my pause? I was trying to stop the transcript, but I have to start it again. Otherwise, okay. So yeah, let's circle back on 7:08 or 7:10 the most. How's that? 7:10 sounds good.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
Okay. All right. Okay, okay. I'll see you guys in a bit. Go ahead and stretch your legs. Get some quick break. All right, are you guys back?
Yes.
All right, let's get started. On camera. Yeah, I was not tracking the chat, but yeah, okay, there you go. Thank you. Uh, yeah, hold on. Okay, I'm going to the presentation mode and my camera. Better. So, what have you guys learned so far in this type of model, incremental or iterative model? What the focus is to work in the small batches, right? Small iteration models, small batches, and deliver MVP and then move on. Keep moving, get the customer's feedback, and then enhance it depending on the feedback or get to the next level and keep going, right? So that's what the whole philosophy, whole purpose of this increment model is about. So now, first, like famous question is about what is agile, right? It's a buzzword people talk about a lot, but people they don't know even what they're talking about. So what is an agile? Agile is actually what is it? As I mentioned in the previous slide when we were talking about iterative or incremental model, right? It's a software development uh, practice or method refers to a group of software development methodologies based on the iterative development. Remember, I mentioned like iterative, incremental, where the requirements actually you have to keep every focus on every single word and try to consume it and understand it. So what happened is where the requirements and solutions evolve through collaboration between self-organizing cross-functional teams. Each and every single word is a keyword. You have to understand and ask and me and try to understand as well. Get yourself concepts clear. What are they exactly talking about? And we will definitely spend some time on this. This slide is very important to understand this because this is what the basic pure uh, soul of the agile is about, right? If you don't understand the concepts or clear your concepts, then definitely it's kind of big misconception. We're going to talk about in each every single word. Where we were is it's the requirements and the solutions. Keep an eye. Okay, requirements is the beginning. Solution is the ending of your phases, right? Where you deliver the solutions or products or software, right? Evolve through collaboration. They go side by side, they go parallel through collaboration between self-organizing cross-functional teams. Teams means people, right? Development teams who deliver work in small, as I mentioned, remember smaller batches, small increments, but consumable increments, consumable. Okay, so let's start our discussion from the definition right from here. Okay, up to until this point, everyone is, oh, okay, yeah, we know that this is iterative development, this is incremental, right? But how Agile, what makes Agile differ from the waterfall or other methodologies? Because the beauty is the requirements and the solutions, even the software itself and its requirements means scope, right? The wish list. What are we going to accomplish, right? And they evolve. They go side by. They go they are being developed together through collaboration. Collaboration means what they do is over here, if you take a look on your old legacy, old school philosophy of project management, the basic emphasize, the focus, the basic ingredients was the project manager managing everything. Okay, over here, project manager or any other manager is not the driver of the bus. It's the team who delivers. It's functional, what's called self-organizing. So let the team self-organize themselves. Don't dictate them. Okay. Hey, you have to do this. You have to do this. Don't dictate them. Don't give the tasks. Let them speak up. Let them deliver the tasks and divide and conquer between themselves. So that's why it's called self-organizing. Don't uh, let don't organize them on your own. For example, in old waterfall management or old, like when I'm saying old means non-agile, okay, where or there is a development manager. He gives tasks to like 10 tasks to one person and then two tasks to another person, right? Which is not fair. Or even they just don't know what are their skills are, or is he or she is comfortable in taking those tasks with those assignments or not. But they just I mean put them on their shoulder that you have to deliver these tasks, not knowing are they capable of doing it or not, right? So over here, Agile has really changed this philosophy and give the control to the team itself. Let the team decide how to deliver. That's why it's called self-organizing. Okay, let the team organize themselves. Let the team l- learn their lessons and improve based on their lessons, not dictate them that okay, hey, person A, you have to do this, person B, you have to do this. Mm-mm. How you know their expertise are. Of course, there could be some basic core functionalities or core skills of their each individual is about, right? When you bring them on the board. For example, could be a .NET developer, the other one could be a cloud architect or whatever. But overall, the team, let them like self-organize, let them deliver the work. Trust them. Trust is the key. And then another buzzword you see is cross-functional. Cross-functional is about there is no dependency of each particular individual to a particular skill. For example, if there is a developer which is .NET developer, don't give them every time .NET development work is or any particular skill work. Of course, they are SMEs, they are subject matter expert, or one could be their core function skill, right? But what they do is in Agile teams, where team members wear multiple hats. One day they are developer, the other day there could be a tester. Same person, same folks, like there is no changes in the uh, development team or new members or no, not like that. So what they do is divide and conquer. They do multiple diverse work. One day they're developer, the other guy same, the other day same guy, same person is a tester. Okay, because that's what the beauty of Agile is. It's called cross-functional. They cross train each other actually. Even the Scrum Master or the product owner, they back each other as well. One day they are Scrum Master, the other day I could be a product owner or product manager because they are not on the call. They're sick. They're gone. Right. Somebody has to fill the role. So over here you have to understand what they're talking about and then implement it. So what is called collaboration, team syncs up every day. Actually there it's called daily scrum call. We will get to the ceremonies of Agile. I'll get to that point. They collaborate each day. Every single day they collaborate. They don't work in silos. Or in old times, in old school methodology, they used to work in their cubes, sitting in their own cool cubes and working in silos. not talking to even each other unless only in the meetings if they're called. Over here, it's open work environment. They sit together even. They they keep talking even they're working well. So they collaborate regular basis constantly between themselves because remember things run parallel, right? Requirements, design, testing, everything is running parallel, right? So that's why it's important to collaborate to avoid any confusions, to avoid any assumptions. Oh, I thought that it should work like this. No, no thoughts, no assumptions, not at all. Let's clear everything. Be honest, be transparent. So that's why collaboration is important. What what kind of collaboration? Who does collaboration between self-organizing team? Self-organizing team means I work on one task today, the other one I could another variety of the task I can pick up. Between cross-functional team. Cross-functional team means there is no developer, there is no tester, all is called development team. Okay, there is no title change. Of course, when they hire high HR perspective, there could be have different titles, like developer or architect or tester or business analyst. Of course, I understand, but or the agile does not label them individual basis. We see them as one development team, right? When we say development team, testing is also included. QA folks are also included. BA is also included. Whoever is contributing towards that delivery, they are all included. So we don't differentiate them. Oh, person A is the only developer. They cannot do testing. No, not like that. When it comes to Agile, everyone is a tester, everyone is developer, everyone is Scrum Master, everyone is a business analyst. Cross-functional. Cross-functional means expect them to do anything. That's what we set the expectations from them. Okay. Of course, I know, I understand. We are not saying that take their core skills away. No, no. But at the same time, we are not even, bringing them into silo mode as well. That okay, oh, you have to work only on this particular task every time, right? Then where is the growth? Where is the growth? How they can learn more thing, like roles or positions, or how they can perform much better, right? But consumable. When we say, remember I talked about MVP. So consumable where they can provide the the feedback, or where they can see the working software in front of their eyes. Increments of one, like increment one outcome, which is MVP one, right? And they can consume it. They can play with that. They can provide the feedback. They can use it. So, any questions on those keywords from anyone? And again, we will spend a lot of time in coming slides because each Agile ceremony is about those keywords, even the manifesto, values. When we will get to that point, you will get more clarity if you are not certified so far. But I believe I spent enough time. But if you guys need more, feel free to follow up with me offline as well. Even I will be happy to give you kind of another more examples. But our future slides definitely will address more clarity. Agile development, another, okay, here we go. If you Google what is Agile, there you will see so many other definitions as well. I picked this one only. It doesn't matter that, I mean, it's not something that, you have to memorize all the way up to this point. Understand it. Understanding is very important. And then elaborate into your own words, and you can come up with much better definition. Agile development refers to any development processes that is aligned with the concepts of Agile Manifesto. I underline it because our next slide is talking about manifesto, coming slides once. There is a history of Agile, how it evolved from the industry leaders. They actually, it was back in 2001 or something. Google it, Google the history of Agile Manifesto. What they do is they meet they met together and they got together in Denver, Colorado, at golf course where they were playing golf as well and talking about the drawbacks or the challenges of waterfall methodology and they were discussing the idea how we can tweak it and update it and bring up something that satisfies the current modern market trends, like changing requirements rapidly. Let me bring the folks. Okay. All right. Thank you. So there's a big history of Agile. If I go into that history, I'll be spending another half an hour more on that history. But get yourself educated about how Agile evolved. What are the leaders of Agile, that founders of Agile, and where they talked about manifesto. What is manifesto is about? Of course, we're going to talk about in a minute. But I mean, it's interesting history. Agile has a really interesting history. You'll see that. But you'll be surprised to hear that when it was adapted by a non-IT organizations. Um, so it was Motorola adapted automated automation industry. It started from there. I think it was Toyota. I think not Motorola. Sorry about that. But again, it's interesting. You will enjoy to learn that history, how it evolved, and even is more surprisingly, it was adapted from automation industry to IT, like regular automation manufacturing to IT to software development. Okay, so another definition over here, as I mentioned, but you don't stick with that. The idea is pure ingredients is Agile Manifesto. The manifesto was developed by a group of 14 leading figures in a software industry and reflects their experience of what approaches do and do not work for the software development. As I mentioned, they met in Colorado, and then outcome of that conference or their meeting was this Agile. They gave it to us, blessings. So over here, as you can see, here is our Agile, right? Plan. It starts with planning, right? Every time. Then we get into the design phase. From design, we deliver MVP, but we keep going, like, develop, test, and then key repeat and rinse, like deploy, review, and then you see this is a whole circle. It's a cycle, but at the same time we keep delivering the product as well, MVPs and launching deployment. As you see, deploy over here as well, and deliver is launching over here. So it's a kind of never-ending process because, as I mentioned in my previous slides, it's a smaller increment cycle, like smaller batches, right? Reducing the small cycles, like all this whole cycle of planning, design, develop, test, deploy, review is reduced, because don't look at the holistic approach, as I mentioned. Like if your software time frame is 6 months, they divide into those six phases, like 6 months. 1 month we will deliver this piece. Second month we will deliver this. That's how they present their roadmap of that particular software. Okay. So they reduce the batch cycle with the presenting to the leadership or the stakeholders. I'm also using stakeholder words. When I say stakeholders, means whoever is sponsoring that project. Okay, because I'm sure there are some folks that are not quite familiar with those keywords, so that's why I'm explaining for their purposes as well. Okay, 1 second. Sorry about that. My kid was next to me. Okay. Are you guys hearing any feedback or background noise or not? I'm just asking.
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay,
No, it's all good, Shad Bhai.
perfect, perfect. Okay, thank you. That's good. So this is uh like try to go every single word and understand why they are coming up with that particular definition. What is the purpose of using those keywords? Each keyword has a whole definition within themselves. Okay, so over here, the major, as I mentioned, I keep saying it in the previous slides I mentioned, the idea is to reduce the cycles, reduce the increments, and get the feedback early, and then fix the bugs or enhance it and keep repeat and rinse, and then deliver. right? So that's what but over here, the other philosophy of Agile is trust the team that they will deliver. Trust them, give them control, rather dictating them. Hey, you have to do this one, you have to do this. Don't assign the work from your perspective if you are managing a project. Give your whole checklist, whole wish list to the team. Here's my backlog. We call it in Agile, we call it a backlog. But here's my checklist. Here's my wish list. This is what I want my software to look like, right? Give them bullets points, whatever you call it, and then let them deliver. They will ask you a question. Okay, hey, how you want this one to be delivered? We can deliver into this pieces. Will that be okay? Okay, yes. Okay, show it to me after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever the batch size is about, right? And then get an agreement, work on a working agreement, and then let the team deliver, and then show it to you, which is called demo. But this was I know it could be a little bit early for you guys to understand fully, but again, we will have whole week to consume it, to understand it, and go from there. The next one is Agile is actually, it's not only one process. Actually, this is something that is actually now we are getting into the uh, a little bit more complex discussion. Agile, uh, further, they broke it down into smaller frameworks because Agile is umbrella, as you can see. Under the umbrella, it has further decomposed frameworks or processes, and Scrum is one of them. As you guys can see, Scrum is there, most popular, right? But it's not the only one in Agile framework. Keep in mind, if someone asks, "Oh, Scrum is the only one part of the Agile?" No, Scrum is one of the methodology or framework. While there are many Agile frameworks, Scrum is the most popular. Simply, as you can say that Scrum, Lean, FDD, like Crystal, AUP, Scrum, Scrumban, XP. Kanban is another one I can talk about, or even give you guys kind of hint, or XP as well. But those are other ones are a little bit different from the others. But again, the idea is not to confuse you guys, because it is Scrum is working for most of the industry and transformations are happening. But at the same time, if Scrum doesn't work, company also try Kanban as well. I will give you guys kind of differentiation between those two as well. And also another one is XP is also popular one. It's not much popular, but sometime depending on the nature of the project, as I mentioned, right? Use cases, keep in mind those use cases that we went over. So that's how, depending on the use cases, depending on the mindset of the leadership, they approve the fund, right, for the product and projects. So they adapt those practices. Scrum is the most popular. We will stick with the Scrum. But again, it's not the only one. Kanban is another one. XP, I will also give you kind of recommend you guys to at least look at the Kanban and XP as well, especially Kanban, because there is a slight difference between Scrum and Kanban. You can say those are two like your brothers, but a little bit different in terms of guidelines. Okay. All right. Agile Manifesto. Remember by the definition, we were talking about Agile Manifesto, and I gave you a kind of a hint that we will address it more into the coming slides, right? Agile is when the industry leaders, 14 people, they get together, they came up with the 4 values and 12 principles for the teams, for the development teams. I should have said development team, but again, why? Because they summarize the challenges of waterfall, because prior to the Agile, waterfall most famous one, most industry robots. Even right now, it's still not like obsolete. But when they look at it, the challenges and the risks associated with waterfall, they came up with 4 values and 12 principles. What are the 4 values? 4 value means they value one value to the other one, actually. over here earlier in the waterfall, you will see lots of process and tools, like sticking with the guidelines. Oh, for example, the design cannot start until the requirements is finished, right? So there's a restriction. So people, whoever are design specific, or the testing cannot start until the design is finished. Okay. Over here, they change the even whole scenario. We value these four values over these practices. We value individuals and interactions over process and tools. We don't we respect processes and tools, but we are not really caught into the weeds into for the when it comes to the processes and tools. We are flexible, but at the same time, when they cause some challenges for the individuals and interactions, we prefer individuals and interactions. The coming slide will address 12 more principles, and it will elaborate these more four values into more details. Okay. Individuals. When we say individuals and interactions, let's talk about individual interactions. We as individuals, right? People that deliver their work, actual work on it. If we are not being valued over the processes and tools, then people really feel uncomfortable because if you, for example, just like you see those these days, they say, "Oh, we value work-life balance." Okay, this is one of the example of that. Individuals and interactions. If the team is sitting together, again, keep in mind, not in silos, not in cubicles, right? They're sitting together, they're collaborating, they're interacting with each other, right? And they are making changes right away. Rather asking them, oh, can you go ahead and update this document and update this in Jira or whichever tool they're using, right? Or where they're maintaining the requirements. They force you to change in the requirement, change in that particular tool, those requirements, and then come back, then I will start work over here. But rather, Agile changed this scenario. They flipped it. Okay, it says, let's do collaborate and talk to each other and make changes right away if agreed upon. For example, if the product manager or VP or director comes up and they said, "Oh, now I want these changes to look like this. Okay, I really want to reduce the number of clicks for my customers. Okay, and change this screen or menu." While we are here, he's sitting over there, he's standing. I'll be doing right away because I don't wait for the formal approval or process and change. Of course, we will take care of it, but respond back quickly to the market demands and your stakeholders or your customers demands. Respond back quickly. That's how you will survive. Okay. Next one is working software. Working software over comprehensive documentation. Same thing as I mentioned right here. Of course, documentation is important. There is no question about importance of documenting the your flow, your work, right? But we will do that. We will take care of it. Let's focus on working software. That is more much priority. That is my priority from development standpoint, right? So earlier, as I mentioned, requirements were being documented, being reviewed, being approved, and then development was starting in those days, old days. Now, development starts right away, and at the same time, the documents are being updated as well, but they are not stopping the development team to deliver or work on it. Okay, so flexibility is important. Customer collaboration, same thing. Individual and interaction. I believe I lightly touch base on that one as well. Right here. Okay, customer collaboration is customer, you don't think about your end user. It could be your another department in your organization that you are delivering or you're working for them as well to make their life easier, or it could be service for them as well, right? Even other different groups or different areas, different departments, different business units, they have dependency on each other, right? So that could be your customer as well. So collaboration. So that's why don't confuse yourself. Oh, customer means when they will purchase our product, then we will get their collaboration or feedback. No, not like that. When it comes to customers is a largely definition. It's huge definition of customer because it depends on the scenarios that you're facing or the products that you're delivering. It could be an internal product for your organization that you use, right? It could be in-house developed product. So for that, in that particular scenario, your leadership is your customer because they are using it, right? Or your HR tool, something that you're using. Anyway, customer collaboration is important over contract negotiation, where you go over contracting, you talk to vendors, you negotiate on the price, blah blah blah. So much restrictions, and then by the time it's too late, because market is trend moving faster. You did not respond to the market trends. You lost. You are behind your competitors. So customer collaboration is very important. Collaborate with them, ask their feedback. For example, remember I showed you the MVP, the working software, small batch. Show it to a customer. Hey, how it look like? Give me your feedback. It's called collaboration, right? Responding to change. I believe I already mentioned slightly over here as well, market trends and following a plan. Over here in the waterfall, they used to have a rigid plan that cannot be changed. Over here, oh, change is always welcome. As I gave you example of Blockbuster and Netflix. Okay. 12 principles. Those 4 values we lightly talked about. Each value is tied up with each principle actually. So right here, look at this, satisfy the customer. How it relates to the value. Over here, responding customer collaboration. It relates to customer collaboration. Next one is welcoming change. Right here, we talked about responding to change. So that's where they elaborated each value to their manifesto, like principles, 12 principles. And I have defined every single principle in detail in the coming slide as well. The next one is deliver frequently, how it relates to the value, responding to change, right here, the last one. Work together, individual or individual interactions or like customer, oh yeah, individual interactions. This is tied up to the work together. Don't work in silos or cubicles lifestyle. Trust and support, face-to-face conversations. I'm not going to spend like in every single value, but I can quickly elaborate where it fits into the value. Trust and support, that comes up to customer individual and interactions or customer collaboration as well. Face-to-face conversation, again, same thing. Collaboration, interactions, working software. I already mentioned MEP, like most minimum viable product, right? That you have to show it to the customer to get their feedback. Sustainable development, regular cadence, give them same rhythm, like repeat and rinse, same cycle, but smaller ones. Continuous attention, focus is the key. That's where Scrum Master comes up in the picture to protect them. Maintain simplicity, keep it simple, keep it simple. Um, be flexible and don't get into the complex things. If it gets to the complex, then break it down into the smaller pieces. Self-organizing team. Remember I mentioned in the definition of the Agile, reflect and adjust. Yes, everyone makes mistakes, right? The question might be in your mind that over here we are talking lots of about trusting the team and delivering, collaborating, all blah blah blah. But reflect and adjust is something where you look back at your mistakes and then you learn and improve. And that's where one of the Scrum ceremony or Agile ceremony is retrospective, my favorite one, where you talk about what went well, what went wrong, or what did not go well, and how can we improve it. That's where you inspect and adapt, reflect and adjust. You learn from your previous mistakes, talk about discuss as a team, and then move on and improve it. So if someone is trusting as a team, right? Then it's your responsibility to reflect as well, to look back and based on lessons learned, improve it and change your course of actions if needed. Okay. All right, as I mentioned before, I have elaborated each Agile Manifesto values, 12 values, into each definition over here. I'll share with you guys after this class, so you guys can quickly go over and consume it as well and come back with any questions. For example, first principle is talking about our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Simple, like simple, straight, understandable, right? Self-explanatory. Same thing right here. Welcome change requirements, even late in the development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. Each of value over here elaborated has pure tied up with the agile values over here and also pure tied up to the ingredients of the agile definition itself. So that's how it's more robust, it's more fascinating, more flexible, adaptive, less risky, cost effective, less time consuming, and also valuable, more productive as well. Same thing. Any questions on these practices so far? Okay, I'm gonna take a quick pause and give you guys kind of quick overview of the agile project management to just to kind of summarize our overall current discussion so far. What do you guys think? Are you guys able to hear the audio or not?
No, Shahid bhai.
No, it's okay.
but
Sometimes
no.
okay, my okay, same
Shahid bhai, you may
channels.
need to stop the sharing, and when you go to share your screen again, there's a checkbox that says allow audio from your computer to be shared as well. So that's probably the way to go.
Okay, device settings are meeting options.
No, actually, the simplest
No.
is first click on stop sharing
Okay, 1 second. Make it to that. Where is my?
right next to the leave button, right?
Oh, here. Okay. All right. There's
Yeah.
something sometimes. Okay.
Yeah.
To the more.
Yeah. Now,
Uh,
when you click on it again to share,
yes.
and you are going to select your monitor, but
Oh, I
notice
see.
there's a checkbox right there
Include
for
computer sound.
audio.
There you go. Wow,
There you go.
sounds good. Thank you so
Perfect.
much. Oh, hey, God, got great help.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Abir. Appreciate it. Teamwork. Okay. So let's quickly summarize Agile project management up to our so far
Management
discussion.
methodology that features an iterative
Now it's audible?
is a project management methodology
Yes.
Okay. All right.
that features an iterative approach to delivering a project throughout its cycle. But what does it all actually mean? Well, here's a real-life example that illustrates the idea behind Agile perfectly. Let's say you have an old, dilapidated house whose roof is leaking, windows are busted out, and the entrance door is kind of missing.
Old house.
Now, winter is coming, and if you try to fix all of the house's problems at once, you'll probably fail, simply because you don't have enough manpower, time, or money. So what do? Well, you pick out the
So over here, he's talking about your windows are leaking, everything is messed up. You have an old house, windows are broken, the winter is coming, right? So what you will do? You'll fix everything all together or one by one. So here we go.
most urgent, critical problems and fix them one by
One
one.
by one.
If you're really good at it, you can work on several minor problems at a time, but certainly not all of them at once. You will be surprised at how quickly an almost destroyed house turns into a fine building with this approach. But what if you want to turn that building into a beautiful skyscraper?
Skyscraper.
Well, you should know the answer by now. Just use the same iteration-based method we've described, and you get there in no time. Now, take that metaphor and apply it to software development, and you'll get Agile. In Agile, you have something called the backlog, which is essentially a list of possible product features and improvements, and sprints, those short iterations during which your team completes the tasks and features on the backlog. Every sprint, you pick out the features you'd like to work on, and the sprint begins. At the end of the sprint, which usually lasts for a week or two, the team gets back together to present their results and define the scope of work for the next sprint. What makes Agile different from all the rest of the project management methodologies is that it's Agile, meaning it's flexible. You introduce changes and improvements to your product gradually, using the collaborative effort of cross-functional teams. If a new brilliant idea or important customer feedback comes in, your team can quickly react and include these ideas and these changes into the next or even current sprint. As a result, Agile teams can deliver value to their customers faster and with fewer headaches. Now, if you're looking to try Agile project management for free, why not go with
Oh,
Pitchix24?
there you go.
It's a
Advertisement.
simple and powerful
Okay.
Agile software that's used by
Now they're advertising. They're selling. Okay, okay. Let me go back to my presentation. So, what do you guys think so far? Thumbs up, down, or boring, or somebody might go sleep based on our conversation so far? Okay, I'm unable to see some thumbs up or because I'm sharing. But again, I'm gonna quickly go over what is Scrum and then we'll pause because we are getting to the point where we have to look back on our idea boards, right? And then I'm just giving you kind of a little bit homework as well. Come prepared next time. We will play a penny game as well. We will not play, but I will play a video of the penny game or coin game. I'm just giving you guys hint to relate to the smaller batches. What is the value in reducing the smaller batches or increments? So it will be interesting video. You will definitely enjoy it. But over here, I'm just getting it to the point where I was kind of trying to kick off my regular training up to the what is Scrum, because we talked about different methodologies. We talked about project management. We talked about different, I mean, project versus product difference, right? And then we'll drill down to the waterfall, different methodologies, where they fit together, right? I mean, in which situation, which methodology is valuable or ideal to adapt, right? And then we switch our gears to Agile, and then now getting to the Scrum. So that was our workflow so far. What is Scrum? A Scrum is an iterative and incremental framework that relies on collaborative, organizing, self-managing, and adaptive teams. So same definition as Agile, because Scrum is subset of Agile, right? As I mentioned, it's Agile is umbrella right here. So Scrum's principles are the same as Agile. It will reflect the same characteristics of Agile, right? But don't think that Scrum is above Agile. Scrum is part of Agile, actually, subset of Agile, as per umbrella picture. There are some other framework as well, or practices. Those are all practices and framework relates to the project management. So that's why our title of the training of the course is about agile project management. And I saw the videos as well. I show you guys. So I show you guys project management as well, right? What's the definition of that? Anyway, coming to the point. So, but it also comes up with some particular practices that differentiate Scrum from the other agile methods, as I mentioned, Kanban or XP or FTD. There was another one as well, a lot out there. I have not explored them yet. I wish I could. But then coming on our future classes, we'll get to the ramp up our discussions more frequently or like more rapidly, because the first class was about to build the foundation to the folks that are really truly new. They have never get a chance to work in the IT industry, right? So far, I really wanted to clear their concepts and thoughts about what the heck we're talking about, like what is it project management, or where is the starting point in IT? Remember my first slide, people, process, technology, where we elaborated, and we're emphasizing on the processes so far. Of course, we have gray area of people as well because we are human being. We as a people development team, and we follow the process. We pivot the technology to deliver the software. But again, just summarizingly, We talked about self-organizing team as well. We also talk about collaborative. Don't sit in the silos or cubicles style, not anymore. Self-organizing means trust the team, give them control, and let them drive the bus wherever it goes. But trust them, they will deliver. And self-managing as well. They will manage themselves, actually. That's another buzz keyword. You guys might be thinking why they have keep saying self or cross-functional, blah, blah, blah. No, every single keyword has a particular meaning behind that. Self-managing is about, like, for example, what is my today's plan? That's what the purpose of daily Scrum call is about. Daily Scrum call or daily stand-up call. We will get to that actually. That's why I mentioned I'm building the foundation. We will get to the ceremonies, Scrum ceremonies in the next class, hopefully by then. But they sync up daily, every day. And that's how they manage themselves. What is your plan for today? That means, hey, have you managed yourself? To in terms of picking up the tasks or working on delivering. Adaptive teams, they adapt the change. As remember I mentioned, like director came up, hey, I really want this website or really reduce the number of clicks and change this menu. Okay, do it right away. We will get to the documentation piece or approvals, all those things, but show them and satisfy them. That's why they work together, they manage themselves, and then they even the cross-functional as well is which is missing over here. But again, uh, Scrum is not different from Agile. So cross-functional means like one day they are developer, the other day they are tester. There is no particular titles in the Scrum world. They all are called development team. So there is no one individual. One day I could be a developer, the other day I could be a tester, or I could be a product owner or a scrum master. They help each other, they fill each other every day. If someone is sick or unable to, they work with each other. So that's why I call self-managing, self-organizing. Cross-functional means multiple hats. Oh, I'm the developer, I will not be doing testing. No, not like that. They have changed this mindset a lot. Okay, all right. I think 7:57. I'm sorry about the 3 minutes, but let's take a quick peek on the question answer because this is something we should not leave it behind. One question is how will we be able to catch this course? What's the scope of this course and its application? I believe I already addressed one in the beginning. It's all about project management. So when it comes to managing a project, that's where you will apply those principles, practices, uh, process guidelines to show yourself as a great project manager or Scrum master. Even in Scrum or Agile, there is no title of project manager. They have changed it to the Scrum Master. So Scrum Master adheres all to project manager characteristics. Although I don't want to. At the same time I want to set the expectations with you guys as well. The companies they have Scrum Master and the project manager both roles as well. So I mean, don't get yourself. Oh, if they have Scrum Master, why they have project manager, or if they have project manager, why they have Scrum Master? It's none of my business. I don't care. But they have different. They have their own RACI, like roles and responsibilities defined for the project manager as well as the Scrum Master as well. But over most of the time, you will happen to see only Scrum Masters working in the Agile if they are mature in Agile. There are a lot of other discussions as well when we will get to the transformation, hybrid model, how they work together, all those things. I will spend some time to give you kind of my daily life examples that will help you guys to clear those concepts as well. Okay, but again, you will benefit this course as I mentioned. I even in the first slide I mentioned setting the expectations with you guys. This is all about project management. There is no hands-on practice on any of the tools other than Jira. I will slightly cover that Jira when we'll get to the ending classes. But our major emphasis is to get to educate yourself, to train you guys on the project management principles, practices, and on the top of it, on the only project management is only Scrum and Agile piece of it, not PMP style route. PMP is almost over. Um, so the next question is, will there be any certification provided by the completion? This I think I already also highlighted as well in my slide. Is also it already addressed No, it's up to the class participant to further, to further their self-education by taking what is taught here. As I mentioned, remember, let me get to, I don't know, you guys, whoever came up with this question, I already set these expectations from this course right here. I'm presenting one more time. No certification issued, but you can get certified using material of this class or contents of this class. And I mentioned two of my students already passed the PSM1 after my previous course that I executed. So we can say that nothing is impossible. Okay, and feel free to reach out for any help, of course. The other one is what is Scrum? Oh, I think this one I mentioned as what is a Scrum, but because Scrum was okay. Somebody already addressed it as well, but I created this sticky as an example. What is Scrum to show you guys a quick demo how you guys can create your more questions. Will you be emailing us the class deck or slides and recording as well? Yes, for the folks, definitely I will share the decks. Those are high level starting point of our conversation. They don't address all those details of our conversation the way I went through, but I'll share with this deck as well. And if I have recording saved, I will share later on. And if especially for the folks that have joined or late or different, they are different time zones for the if they are if absent. Next one is if Scrum considered to be the most flexible framework under the Agile methodology. Yes, that is definitely. When you say, well, let me rephrase it actually. Flexible, Agile itself is all flexible methodology. Remember you saw the video that I showed you guys? Agile is about being flexible, but yes, most popular, most adaptive framework is Scrum. And I will show you guys the difference between Scrum and Kanban as well. How Scrum how it makes different how it makes Scrum different from Kanban or other Scrum. Because if you go into that particular level of details right now, it will not be fair for others because I really want to set the foundation and cadence for the future classes. Okay. Oh, someone is asking, or can you go on mute? Okay. Someone muted my.
Shahid bhai, I would